He's been unmuted. Is it Eberline, Mr. Klein? Is that correct pronunciation? Do you justice?
Thank you. Yes, it's Eberline.
Okay, thank you. Um, well, are any of the proposals in the bills that are being discussed today, do they appear to be redundant?
They're not redundant. Thank you, Mr. Gohmert. And they're not redundant. They're complementary to some of the activities that we're having already in the Forest Service.
And what would that be?
We're looking at, we've been embarking on some of our recreation permit modernization. We've been looking at and have been starting to work on electronic permits, updating our databases. We have been training our employees in being prepared and ready for electronic and digital services that would complement many of the programs that have many of the options that they have in these legislation.
Well, why is the potential for automatically renewing existing permits under 3670 of concern to some people, as far as you're aware?
Well, we do have the ability currently to be able to have some permits be able to be automatically renewed. And certainly the SOAR Act would support that and expand some of the flexibilities that we have already.
Right. So is there no concern at all about any of the automatic renewals that may take place under the new bill?
I would say we want to make sure that any kind of clauses or any new updated information as part of a permit would be able to be inserted into any renewal on a permit.
Yeah, with that, but if it were automatic, then you may not have that opportunity to insert that language, correct?
Aspects that we'd like to work with the committee to ensure that we have some opportunities to do that upon renewal.
Okay, so but you're hoping that there will be some small modifications to those provisions then, correct?
We are working, we're hoping to work with the committee to do that, to have those technical modifications.
And I understand from what's been testified to, the Forest Service and the BLM, you want very much to work on the issue of climate change. I was informed by the immediate past director of NASA that they have found that the moon's orbit is changing slightly, and so is the Earth's orbit around the sun. We know there's been significant solar flare activity. And so is there anything that the National Forest Service or BLM can do to change the course of the moon's orbit or the Earth's orbit around the sun? Obviously, that would have profound effects on our climate.
I would have to follow up with you on that one, Mr. Gohmert.
Yeah. Well, if you figure out a way that you in the Forest Service can make that change, I'd like to know. Also, just to put on your radar, as the Associate Deputy Chief in the National Forest System, we've got a couple of national forests in East Texas in my district, and I get complaints regularly about whether it's culverts not being repaired. It's almost as if the Forest Service wants the land for themselves, but not for the public. We also know that in our poorer rural counties that have a significant amount of national forests, they went from receiving their portion of proceeds from the renewed resource of pine trees. They went from getting $1.6 million to 64,000. And the stewardship program, in some of our local government's opinion, is being used to prevent them from sharing in the proceeds by putting money into the stewardship program that they're told, oh, this will benefit the entire county, the community, but they can't see the benefit, and they certainly notice that money being put off limits to them getting 25%. So I would hope that y'all would take another look at just how the stewardship program is being implemented. But I thank you, and I see my time has expired. Yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman yields back. The chair will now recognize Ms. Talib if she is still with us.